Good morning, students. I welcome you all for the online class of economics. Today we will be going to learn the topic that is a cooperative society has it is in the rural development how the credit is offered to the farmers. After that we will be going to learn the functions of cooperative sector we have completed. Then we have started up the next topic that is the commercial banks. The bank which provide the loan to the particular agricultural areas so as to earn a profit from them, it is known as commercial bank. This provide loans for all the agricultural operation and allied purposes. They may broadly be classified into direct advance, the indirect advance. We have learned this also. Let us have a revision of this topic once again. Direct advances, student, it may be short, medium and long term. Short term may take the form of crop loans or production loans. These loans have to be repaid within a period of 1 month or 2 months after the harvest of crops. Banks normally go for tie-up arrangements so as to ensure recovery of funds. One such example is the arrangement with sugar mills in the case of loans granted to sugar cane growers. Medium and long-term loans are granted for developmental programs which are capital intensive. Maximum repayment period is 15 years. Indirect advances, when we talk, this include credit granted to dealers of fertilizers to meet their working capital requirement. Advances made to cooperative milk societies, sheep breeding cooperative societies, etc., which in turn extend credit facility assistance to the member for purchase of milk, cattle, sheep, etc. Weaknesses of commercial banks. As the commercial bank is having not that time it was not having too much advantages. Let us see the disadvantages of commercial banks. The very first disadvantage when we going to talk is cost of or conducting agricultural advance is very high, and there are huge losses in opening and operating rural branches. The regional managers have to be forced to carry out agricultural advance because their initiative and interest is always lacking. Third, central offices of banks are cut off from the remote rural branches because of lack of communication and transport system. As a result, inter-brand bank adjustment are not possible due to lack of reliable data. Banks are quite selective in their village adoption approach. More backward villages have not been adapted. The manager lend to the rural poor very carefully because manager performance will lead to his promotion or demotions. As a result, he is very cautious while lending. Proper feedback system is absent in this system because there is no linkage between bank credit and use of it raising productivity. Banks were only centralized toward giving the loans. The loan will be beneficial for the farmers or not. That guidance was not given or the feedback was not given by the commercial banks. The rural branches of commercial banks have not been able to mobilize the savings of the rural population. That was also the weakness of commercial bank. As the seeing the overall drawbacks of the commercial bank, the next bank which operated for the credit providing facility of rural bank was Regional Rural Bank. These have been set up under Regional Rural Banks Act of 1976. The areas of their operation have been very carefully selected as the area where banking facilities and cooperatives are absent. Normally the region is a cluster area district. The central government through NABARD participates in its 50% capital formation. They cater exclusively to the needs of weaker sections. They have been able to achieve the main objective of helping the weaker sections in the rural areas. Nearly 90% of the loans of that regional rural banks were provided to the weaker sections. These banks have been successful due to loans at lower rate of interest and higher rate of interest on deposits. The pay of the staff was in tune with that of the other banks. So this way the regional rural bank plays a very important role for the credit providing to the rural areas people as well as in the banking sector. Weaknesses of RRBs are as follows. Regional disparities in growth. The growth of regional rural banks in all parts of the country was not proportionate. Sometimes they were wrongly located, which created the problems of coordination. Continuous losses. Most of regional rural banks are incurring losses year after year. The rich farmers do not come forward to deposit their savings with these banks. Rate of lending are also low. Problems of growing overdues. As much as 50% of the advance extended have become overdue due to increasing defaults. People taking loan were not able to return back. That created the losses for the regional rural banks. Various shortcomings in dealings. Need of the borrowers are not studied nicely before sanctioning loan. Pre-sanction inspections are not conducted properly. Disbursement were made in stages without verifying the progress of work. Sometimes documents executed by the borrowers were incomplete. Methods of operation. Regional rural banks have adapted the methods adopted by the sponsoring banks. These methods have not been proved to be useful. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. The full form of this bank you must remember for the MCQ, that is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. As the name is, this was a national bank which was stated there for agricultural as well as for the rural development of the people. In 1979, Reserve Bank of India appointed a committee to go into the whole structure of rural credit and make recommendation for reorganizing and strengthening it. The committee gave its report in March 1981 and recommended the setting up of a NABARD. It was set up in July 1982. It has authorized share capital of rupees 500 crore. The Reserve Bank of India has contributed half of the share capital, while the other half has been contributed by the government. In this way, NABARD was established for the development of rural areas. Government of the Reserve Bank of India is the chairman of NABARD. The National Agricultural Credit Fund has been transferred from Reserve Bank of India to NABARD to form a part of its National Rural Credit Bank. It is permitted to raise resources from government in the market. From RBI, it can take help for short-term credit and working capital loans. Functions of NABARD when we talk student, the various functions of NABARD are as follows: to provide short, medium and long-term credit to state cooperative banks, regional rural banks, land developmental banks and other financial institutions approved by the Reserve Bank of India. To grant long-term loans to the state government for subscribing to the share capital of cooperative societies. To give loans to the approved institution to invest in securities or to contribute to share capital of institutions engaged in agriculture and rural development. To coordinate the activities of the central and the state government and other all India and state level institutions interested in the development of small scale industries, village industries and rural crafts. To take the responsibilities of inspecting cooperative banks, regional rural banks and primary cooperative societies. To promote research in agriculture and rural development. To serve as a refinancing agency for the institutions providing finance to rural and agricultural development. To sanction credit limits and refinance to state cooperative banks, land developmental banks and regional rural banks for supplementing their resources for short-term as well as medium-term loans for various agricultural and non-agricultural purposes. NABARD can help tenant farmers and small farmers to consolidate their land holdings. So these were the functions of NABARD student: to provide short, medium and long-term credits to state cooperative banks, regional rural banks, land developmental banks and other financial institutions that was approved by the Reserve Bank of India. This way the National Bank was helping in a great way to the agricultural society to come up from the various shortcomings what they were facing in the agricultural field, and also help them to continue with the trade. Grant long-term loans to the state government for subscribing to the share capital of cooperative societies, giving loans to the corporate institutions to invest in securities or to contribute to their share capital. That was the great help for the agricultural society. It also coordinate the activities of the central state government to the farmers who were not knowing what the government is doing for their upliftment. It also take the responsibility of inspecting cooperative banks, regional rural banks and primary cooperative societies. So this way, the point which is helpful is telling us is that regional rural banks helps a lot to the farmers, not only in getting the loan but also in knowing various awareness program which is made by the government for their upliftment and development. Kudumbasri, the women-oriented community-based poverty eradication mission, was launched by Government of Kerala with the active support of Government of India and NABARD for wiping out absolute poverty from the state within a period of 10 years. Self-help group and micro credit program students. As I already introduced you in the class, self-help group and micro credit programs promote thrift in small proportions by a minimum contribution from each member. From the pooled money credit units are fulfilled, the member have to repay the credit in small installment at low rate of interest. The borrowings are mainly for consumption purposes. Means self-help group, the business which they started for accumulating the raw materials and the things which is needed for starting the business. Loans was provided by in small way. The following points emerge on the latest status of agricultural credit source economic survey in 2009-10. To improve credit flow to the agriculture sector, the government initiated a number of policy measures from time to time, like farm credit package and special agricultural credit plans. The credit flow in 2008 and 9 is placed at rupees 2,64,455 crore. To provide adequate and timely credit support to the farmers from the formal banking system in a flexible and cost-effective manner, the Krishi Credit Card, Kisan Credit Card scheme was introduced in February 1999. The Kisan Credit Card scheme has now been extended to borrowers for the long-term cooperative credit structure. To give further fillip to the KCC scheme, NABARD advised all regional rural banks to achieve the targets of issuing at least 150 KCCs by each branch of RRB during 2007 and 8. The Agriculture Debt Waiver and Debt Relief Scheme was announced the Union Budget 2008 and 9. An amount of Rs 50,889 crore has been released to Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala and Maharashtra under the rehabilitation package for distressed farmers on March 31, 2009. Next is the rural banking. After this, NABARD, SHG and rural credit banks, one more program was started for the help of the farmers, that is rural banking. A critical evaluation was made that what was the need. Actually the need was provided to the farmers, had it been received by the farmers or not. That is known as rural banking student a critical evaluation. Since 1969, when the nationalization of commercial banks took place, non-banking has extended a great deal. Significant expansion of rural banking system played a positive role in raising farm and non-farm output by providing services and credit facilities to farmers, providing long-term and loans with better repayment options. It thus helped eliminating money lenders from the same. Generating credit for the self-employment schemes in rural areas, achieving food security which is clear from the abundant buffer stocks or grains. Limitations of rural banking, when we say the resources of institutional finance are inadequate to meet the requirement of the farmers. Actually what the need was small farmers. If we will take large farmers, the problem is not so much as compared to small farmers. Small farmers, they were not able to get the aggregate help what they require from this bank. Farmers still depend on money lender for their credit needs. There exists regional disparities, inequalities in the distribution of institutional credit. Rural banking is suffering from the problems of large amount of overdue and default rate. Recovery of agricultural loans has become a serious problem in the functioning of the rural banking institutions. About 50% of the defaulters are willful defaulters. This constitutes a threat to the very existence of rural banking. It is an alarming situation. Small and marginal farmers receive only a very small portion of the institutional credit, as I already said to you people. The large farmers, moreover the rural banks were under the control of the large farmers. A large portion of institutional credit is taken by the rich farmers. Solution to the problems of agricultural credit in India, when we talk, credit facility should be extended to farmers by commercial banks in easy and terms and conditions. Cooperative credit societies in rural areas should be strengthened, and then working should be transparent and efficient. An effective mechanism for the recovery of agricultural loans should be evolved at the earliest. More regional rural banks should be set up to meet the credit needs of the rural and backward areas. So these were the solution to the problems of agricultural credit in India, student. The credit facility should be extended to farmer by commercial banks, easy terms and conditions. It should be in rural areas should be strengthened, and the working should be transparent and efficient. Regional rural banks should be set up to meet the credit needs of the rural and backward areas. Agriculture marketing, when we talk, student, meaning and features of agriculture marketing. Agriculture marketing is defined as a process of marketing farm produce through wholesalers and stockists to ultimate consumers. Features of agriculture marketing are as follows. Agriculture product involve high storage and transportation costs as they are bulky. They are generally perishable by nature, means it is not, if it is not taken care, it will not be used for a longer period of time. So a farmer has to sell it off as early as possible. If price of agriculture products falls, demands will not increase in a greater proportion. If price of agriculture product rises, supply cannot increase instantly, because production is limited as per the geographical situation and the agricultural situation. Concept of advertising and other sales promotion activities are not existing in agricultural marketing. There is problem of standardization and grading of agricultural products. In developing countries, farming is a way of life rather than a commercial proportion. Prices of agricultural product is determined by the government or wholesalers. Farmers have poor bargaining power. Defects of agriculture marketing, if we say students, the following are the present system of agriculture marketing is far from satisfactory. We all know. This is, we can say, as the farmers itself say they are not satisfied with the rules, with the things exempted by the government. The following are the main defects: inadequate warehouses. The government has opened very few warehouses with scientific techniques for storing their products. The warehouse do not fulfill the needs of the farmers. As a result, the farmer has to no better choice but to store grains in mud vessels, gunny bags, etc. These are unscientific methods of storing which lead to considerable wastage to the extent of 5 to 10%. As the produce got rotten or is eaten by the rats and pests and thus become unfit for human consumption. The cultivator is thus obliged to sell the produce immediately after harvesting. Multiplicity of middlemen. Multiplicity of middlemen states that there are a large number of middlemen between cultivators and consumers. They take the advantage in giving the loans to the farmers as well as selling the goods to the consumer. They perform a variety of functions and each earn profit. They exploit both farmers and consumers. It is observed that there is a big difference between the price released by the farmer and final price paid by the consumer. Studies show that only 40 paise in a rupee paid by the consumer is given to the producer. You can think how much cheat was done to the farmers, though their hard work was there in the production of the product. Malpractice in unregulated markets. A number of malpractices prevail in Indian markets. The broker conspires against the cultivator. Broker takes the undue advantage of the ignorance and illiteracy of the farmers. They are used to unfair means to cheat them. Improper measuring for weighing, grading and standardization. In India, a large variety of weights and measures are used in the same market. Sometimes two sets of weights are used, one for buying and another for selling. There is no organized agency to classify the product of farmers in different grades and fix prices accordingly. Lack of adequate finance. Farmer is a man with small means. He doesn't have much money to prepay back his old dues or to pay his land revenue. Banks and cooperative societies are not able to fully meet the requirement of the farmers, the credit to the farmers. So farmers are forced to depend upon money lenders and traders who charge a very high rate of interest. Adequate means of transport and communication. The means of transport and communication are adequately developed and defective. Many of the farmers' villages are not connected with pakka roads. Most of the village roads are not good for motor vehicles, transportation, etc. Because of that also rural farmers were not getting any advantage. They were not so much development of the rural society. Next topic we will continue in the next class. Thank you for today's class. Have a nice day.